What's up, y'all? It's your boy Roscoe P, and I'm back with another one of my tales from overseas. Yo, living in Japan was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life. I got the opportunity to live other places. I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. Japan was a great spot, man. And to each his own. Everybody has a spot they love. Japan was that spot for me. I've been to other countries. I filled up my passport. I've been a lot of places, a lot of places. Japan for me was probably one of the greatest places I'd ever been. Though I'm not gonna lie. One thing that for me that set it apart was the drinking culture. Um, Man, if you guys go to Japan, just understand that beer, whiskey are delicious over there. They're so good. They're so good. And Japan has a very large after work happy hour in the States we call it, but after work happy hour culture where you got these swaths of salarymen after their jobs that go out and drink with people and just let loose after a stressful day, have a great time. And I've had the opportunity to go out both planned and unplanned and just end up drinking with a bunch of Japanese guys, man. And it it's probably one of the greatest things that can ever happen to anybody, you know. You I can't really I can't really describe what it's like. It's one of those things where you kind of have to do it in order to understand it, right? Just to go out with a Japanese group of Japanese people and drink. So first off, when you go out and drink, everybody's kind of conservative at the end, in the beginning. Excuse me, not at the end. In the beginning, everybody's a little conservative. You know, they're feeling they're trying to get to know you, but there's still there's a big air of politeness and this culture of nice people, right? You go out, bunch of people, oh, come drink with us, come drink with us. Oh, okay, okay. And so I'm going to share a couple stories about me drinking with a group of Japanese people, both planned and unplanned. The first one is planned. I went out with some of my teammates, and one of my teammates, his brother was a salary man. So his brother's like, "Hey man, bring some of your basketball players out." Now I've been in the country maybe like 2 or 3 years, so I kind of got a good understanding of what was going on, and we ended up going out, and these guys are all in matching shirts and ties, like white shirt, black tie, black jacket, salary man uniform. Just uh, so we go out, and I'm the only Gaijin there. Gaijin is a foreigner. I'm the only foreigner there. I was like, yo, let's rock, let's go. I don't care, because at the time, what I was doing was I was making myself just go to anything and everything. I was like, I don't care what it is, man. I'm gonna go to experience this bit of the culture to see what this is like. I didn't care. And so the guy's like, all right, like let's go, let's go. So we end up going to this place like an izakaya. Izakaya is they give you like not huge meals. It's like finger foods to share with a table, and the beers are big. I spoke about this in the last video. The beers are big, and the cups are small, but everybody gets a swig of the beer. Like somebody will pour for everybody, and you're not supposed to pour beer for yourself. In Japanese culture, you're supposed to have someone pour it for you. And man, everything started out okay. Everything. And his brother spoke decent English, right? His brother spoke decent English. And then I would say like maybe 8 or 9 beers in, it was just going to like this weird place where they were asking me all types of like these weird questions. And one guy, I never forget this, he was like, "Hey man, is it true that," and he was broken English, but I was starting to pick it up. He was like, "Is it true that you can buy like a Rambo gun at Walmart at the store?" And he said Walmart. I guess he had visited America, so he said Walmart. I was like, "A Rambo gun?" I was like, "What's that?" So he takes off his tie and he puts it around his forehead, and he's like, "Rambo, Rambo." And he stands on the table, like, "Rambo, Rambo, Rambo." I'm like, "Oh, oh." I'm like, "Nah, you can't buy one of those guns in a Walmart. You can't buy one of those guns anywhere, man. I don't even think they sell those. Those are highly illegal." He's like, "Illegal guns in America? No, they're not." He's telling me, I'm like, yeah, man, I guess you're right. Okay. You know, I'm like, sorry, man, go back inside. All right, you got it. You got it. And so the night, it just went from there to other stories to like, guys asking me questions. They were like, man, you know, what do you like about Japan? I was just kind of explaining to them like, I like food. And one guy was like, you like the girls, right? He was like, they're really small. They're small compared to you. He was like, you're big. They're small. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Like being drunk with people that are from another country is probably one of the best experiences I've ever had, man. It's so entertaining to drink and to talk and to try to understand the culture. It's massively entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, it's massively entertaining. It helps if you knew a little bit of language, which I was starting to pick up. It also helps if people speak a little bit of your language because then the stories are funnier. But so that was the plan time. Just the amount of questions and like the weird things that they ask because Japan is an island, so they don't really understand a lot about American culture except for what's either on the news or television or in a movie, you know? So they think Americans, you know, guns are big in America. So they're like, oh, everybody's got one, man. Everybody's got one. I'm like, nah, man, everybody doesn't have a gun. You know, like it's not like that, but you're free to carry one. And in Japan, they're not allowed to carry guns, so they don't know, you know. So it was just a lot. One of the guys was like, "Do you sleep with a gun under your pillow?" I was like, "No." And I was like, "I don't know, maybe." And then it went just like, "Yeah, sure, I do that, yeah." And so a lot of it was like, I just started. I just made it a point to just answer yes to a lot of things because I was like, "Bro, it's hard enough for me to explain it, but yeah, sure, all right, yeah, I do that too." So by the time they left away from this, his brother calls my teammate and was like, yo, like, you have the big gun toting American. Like, is he a bodyguard on the team? So his brother's laughing at him, like, nah, bro, he's on the team. He was joking with you. He was joking with you and your boys, yo. He was telling you guys a bunch of stuff. And so I hear his brother on the phone, like, like, that's not right, bro. He was like, that's not cool, man. But he's laughing. He's like, that's not cool, man. I thought he was serious, but he's laughing. And my teammate tells me, he's like, bro, yo, you're crazy. You're nuts. And I'm like, yo, what am I supposed to do in that situation, right? Like, everyone's drinking. Who cares? I think the other part to that is that you get people from different cultures that don't know really how to handle themselves when they do drink. I've been out drinking with everybody in Japan. Everybody from... And again, I'm not generalizing an entire culture. I'm not. I've been out drinking with some Australians and some Australian people I was out drinking with. They were wild, man. Wild, wild. And on the flip side, I've been out drinking with other Australians in Japan that were just calm as hell. Calm as hell. Like, just, hey, man, give me another one. All right, man, I'm done. Here's my check. I'm out. Yeah, man, it's just a group of people that you drink with, man. I mean, I've had, and it's funny too because another thing in Japan is that when people are sleepy, especially salarymen, when they're just done, they're done. It's over for them. So they'll go into a bar, drink all night, and then another factor is the train stopped running. And so once the train stopped running at a certain hour, you're stuck where you are. And Japanese people don't bother people. They kind of just like, all right, you know, that's how you feel. So I've seen Japanese salarymen like fall asleep on train cars, fall asleep on sidewalks. I saw one Japanese salaryman after drinking out, I'm guessing, or he was just really tired. He fell asleep in like a bed of bushes in front of my house, just knocked out. Knocked out. And I'm like, yo, how, man? Like, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm one of those people that like, I gotta get home, yo, or I gotta get to like a safe space. I can't just like fall asleep. But also, it comes because I live in America. Like, you fall asleep in on the sidewalk or something, you're gonna wake up in your underwear because everything else is gonna be gone off you. Somebody gonna just take your stuff. That's where I'm from. So it boggled my mind the fact that, you know, these guys would go out and get drunk, and then fall asleep just wherever after the train stopped running. Just wherever, like, all right. So that goes to my second unplanned story. So my second story, which was unplanned time, I was out at a bar just drinking, and a bunch of Japanese salary guys come in, and they are with a bunch of women, and I understand this to be like speed dating or something of that nature. So they had like 5 Japanese men, 5 Japanese women, and the Japanese men and women would take turns talking to the girls and everything else. And I'm watching this transpire. I'm like, I'm intrigued at this point. I mean, like my chair is fully turned around. I'm drinking a beer, just watching this whole thing. 'Cause I'm like, what the hell is this? Like I'd never seen it before. And so I'm like, so I send them over some beer. I'm like, yo, man, y'all keep doing what you're doing, you know. And one of the girls spoke English, one of the guys spoke English. So they started just chopping up to me. I'm like, what's going on? So she tells me, she's like, you know, this is I forgot the name of it. It's dating where you go out with a bunch of people and then you talk to everybody and then you kind of single out who you like and then you separate yourself. So he they're so the girl is talking to me and she's telling me, she's like, you know, a lot of times like a girl with a very pretty face or a really big chest will get a lot of the attention. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. She's like, yeah, you know, and you might see 3 or 4 guys trying to talk to that one girl where the other girls are just kind of left out. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And so the more the liquor started flowing, the more you see that separation. Like some girls just got up and left. They were like, I'm going home. But you see these guys like focus on this one girl. And like, who's going to take her home? Who's going to take her home? And, or who's going to take her out? Who's going to get a number? Whatever the case may be. And so this girl's like sitting next to me, like just translating stuff to me. And she's like, oh, so he said this. And she said, I'm like, yo, this is so crazy. Like, I don't even know if I would ever have an experience like that anywhere else because of, you know, how friendly Japanese people are. And this girl was like, I got no stake in this. You know, she was like, I'm here with one of my friends, but I have a boyfriend. So I have nothing, like, this isn't for me. And I'm like, well, cool. I bought her another tall beer, poured me some, and I'm like, man, listen, let's continue to watch this, and please. And she was really cool, man. She was super cool, and she talked to me about what was going on. And finally, I guess the prettiest girl, the one with the big chest, got up, and she talked to one guy on the end, and they both left. And so you have these 3 dudes that are there, so they just like pouring more beers, and they end up getting up and leaving, right? And so when they get up and leave, I got up and left too. I was like, yo, I gotta go home. It's late. I'm tired. So what I ended up doing was like the trains had kind of stopped running, and the girl, the pretty one who was there with her friend, the girl that was talking to me and explaining to me what was going on, they had to go. So I was like, yo, I'll pay for your cab wherever you gotta go. So the cab came, picked them up. I was like, yo, and I told her, I said, yo, I appreciate you so much because, yo, you really gave me an insight into what happened, you know, what was going on. And she was like, yo, not a problem. You know, that was very nice of you. You didn't have to do. I was like, nah, I had to. Like, y'all get home safe. And as I'm walking, because I didn't live far from the bar, I didn't live far at all. I lived in walking distance. So I was like, all right, I'm going to walk home. And as I'm walking, I see the salary guys ahead of me. And one guy is just like, and he just sits down on the curb. And then he lays down on the curb. And he just fell asleep. It was over for him. I'm like, damn, like, how do you do that? Yeah, I don't get it. Other 2 dudes, like, walked up a little further, and one guy found some steps, and he sat, and he fell asleep. Another guy got a cab. He was waving his hands, hailed a cab, went home. I'm like, yo, I couldn't do it, bro. I just couldn't do it. But, I mean, the things you hear, yo, and some of the things that were said within that little man, the dating was crazy. And the more liquor they got, the funnier it got. It was hilarious. Oh man, listen. It's your boy Roscoe P, man. It's another of my tales from overseas, man. Listen, you've never had an adventure until you've sat and gone to another country and had drinks with locals and listened to their stories, man, and just chopped it up with them and answered questions about who you are and what you're doing there and what your country is about. Because at the end of the day, they just want to know. I ain't take it as offensive. I didn't take it as bad. You know, and a lot of times in Japan, you'll meet people and they want to practice their English with you too. So they'll just start talking to you. And, hey, talk back. Who cares? You're in another country and understand what's going on culturally. Understand what's going on, you know, in the nation, nationally too. So it's your boy Roscoe P, man. Go to another country, have a drink with somebody or your boy overseas, man. Who knows? You might catch up to me somewhere and be like, "Yo, Roscoe, let's have a drink." I'm in, bro. Let's do it. Yo, it's been a pleasure, yo. It's been great. Yo, hit that like button if you like these. Subscribe to the channel. Share it with people, man. I'm telling you. Yo, more Roscoe P Tales from Overseas coming soon, man.